young men nowadays are in just such a difficult and confusing spot because there's so many different things that they see. They have access to the internet, and the internet is just showing off all of these people that are killing it in the industries, business, like whatever it is, like they're just killing it. And obviously not all of that is authentic and real. Like some of that stuff is just larping, like straight up larping. But like people are just so readily available to just seeing all of the different types of people that are just doing really, really well, maybe like the top 1% of people, and it's just showing up daily on their feed, while a lot of kids are just going the traditional route. And then when they're seeing these videos, it's just making them want to just pretty much just drop everything and see that there's so much more potential to this life rather than just wasting it on going to work and working for somebody else. And it makes it difficult because also AI, you know, is at play here, and lots of people are even just losing jobs because of it, or they have the fear of their jobs being taken from them because artificial intelligence is just getting to the point now where you can just pretty much outsource anything. So you have the scare of losing your job with AI, and then also you have this scare of when you create a business that other competitors and other businesses are just going to take your spot because maybe they'll have like full on teams, people from MIT, like just groups of people that are just really intelligent and technical come over and take over the entire industries that people are trying to build something in. And it's a pretty valid reason to just worry. And I find myself doing the same thing, especially for someone who came from the online industry and didn't go the traditional route and straight up just dropped out of college, tried it twice, made a good amount of money online, and then just saw the inconsistency with the money coming in and also just my work ethic. Especially I think social media has a big play in it when you're constantly seeing people make a lot of money. Like the thing that comes to my mind is just fast money, fast money, fast money, but that's not realistic. Like flowers, everything takes time to grow. You need to water it. And you can't water something when you're constantly trying to rush it and expect it to grow fully and blossom the next day. You're not watering it. You're just like pressuring it. And all it does is create more anxiety, more fear, and it doesn't ultimately get you to your goal, especially having a bunch of different people pop up on your timeline doing a bunch of different cool businesses, and you're like, okay, I can do this one, this one, this one, this one. I heard recently on a Stephen Bartlett Diary of a CEO podcast where he brought like a monk on there, and the monk was basically just saying, be like water. It's something that you'll hear pretty frequently. There's a lot of different religions, cultures that lead to that same kind of point. If you're touching the water, like just don't touch the water. Like if you're touching the water, you're creating ripples, and those ripples are disturbing the flow. And I find myself constantly switching the ideas of what I want to do and thinking that this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work, and ultimately just never fully succeeding in something. I'll find a little bit of success in the beginning, and then after I make the money, it's either I get bored or I find something new that's more like intriguing to me and I feel like it's going to last longer. But what's the point in me trying different things if none of them are lasting long? They just end up being wasted talent at the end of the day. Because if I just stuck with one thing and really like nurtured it and gave it water and just made sure I put time and effort into it and really just kept my focus on that one thing in a society full of distractions, I would be able to, outdo the people that are just constantly being distracted like myself at the moment. And it's a really tough thought for a lot of guys our age. I hear it all the time. People are constantly anxious. It's not only that, it's just society nowadays. It's just not the same as it was when our parents were around and they were our age. Like your parents will go say, go out and meet people, go do this, go do that, but they just don't understand where our mind is at and where we've been pretty much groomed into thinking a certain way. It almost feels like a psyop. It feels like we've been manipulated. It feels like we've been hijacked in our mind where we just are stuck. Our nervous system and everything just feels like we're being complacent at home, but we have such bigger thoughts and we're trapped in our thoughts and we're not able to actually go out and do things. We'll have big dreams, we'll have big aspirations, and we'll see a crazier life, but that life never ultimately comes into fruition when we're only just dreaming about it. It's just the same as when you're staying at home and your parents just see you home all the time. They're like, why don't you just go out and meet people? And it's hard for people our age and just people in just general nowadays. I'm sure like even adults are going through the same thing. It's like you have technology, you have things that are just keeping you inside your home where you have everything you need at home. It's almost like it feels like you don't need to actually leave your house to go and do things because you get all the dopamine at home. And when you do, it feels intimidating, to go out and start a conversation, go out and meet people. And there's other kids around the same age as me right now that are going through the same thing. It's hard for me to just put that into perspective sometimes to my parents or just to myself because it is the reality. The reality isn't what I see on my phone. The reality isn't all these people are out there just, meeting different people. Obviously, there's a few people out there that do that. And that's great. And I strive for that. But it's not as easy as just, go out and talk to people, especially when you're in your hometown. And it's not really just an excuse, like I should be able to do that. But I have the courage right now to tell you that it's not that simple for somebody who's been trapped and locked in on their phone and locked in on trying to do different things and hearing all these different opinions all the time from people all across the world. It makes it difficult. And sometimes we'll have these moments where we just get like a spark ignited where we're like, okay, this is all BS. I can understand where I need to be. I know what's holding me back, but I still, like the next day I'll wake up and it's the same thing. It's like you're hypnotized. And the only way to break that cycle is you. Nobody else. No one else can talk you into doing things. No one else can talk you into, creating the life for yourself that you want. You have to do it. Especially for what we've been conditioned to. You have to go out and do it. Break the cycle. Break the loop. Do the things that are uncomfortable. You'll realize at the end of the day, just take a moment to think about what is the worst outcome going to be. Okay? And you look at it and it's not that bad. It's really just a lot of negative stuff built up in us to believe our fight or flight into thinking that it's like life or death. At the end of the day, you try something, you fail it, and whatever. Move on from it and go do something else. It's not that serious. Stop taking life so serious. Go out and do the things you want to do. Don't be held captive and be a slave to your mind. It's your life. Start taking control of it.